Welcome to another DragonLance Saga creator episode. It is Palast Fierce Wealth the 11th. My name is Adam, and today I'm creating the 36 and 48 month membership badges for the YouTube membership on this channel. I would like to take a moment and thank the members of this channel and invite you to consider becoming a member by visiting the link in the description below. You can even pick up DragonLance gaming materials. Now, I'm not on camera for a very good reason because it's hot as hell. But I do have Illustrator set up, and so I wanted to sort of just chat a little bit about Dragonlance and membership on the channel maybe, or whatever you guys want to talk about while I sort of brainstorm the creation of the next membership, like little icons. So for those of you who don't know, membership on this channel gives you like a little icon at the end of your name. So for example, we have the different High Lord masks of different colors, white, blue, red, green, black, etc. And then once you get to 24 months, it's all of these together in one, just sort of icon image. But I figured since they just recently unlocked 36 and 48 month, which I don't see how anyone is going to get those, but if they do, I want to have something cool for them, right? Hey, Chris, how you doing, man? Thanks for joining live. So I want to do something kind of cool, and what's the next step up from the Dragon High Lord mask? Well, it's got to be the Crown of Power, right? So I want to sort of walk through this. Hey, Solid Crumbie, how you doing? Yeah, these are already available. We're going to be doing something brand new. So the Crown of Power, if I look this up on dragonlance.fandom.com, it's also known as Miceram, and it's a very powerful magical artifact of evil. With this, a person may achieve absolute and total control over a person. The Miceram was made of bright gold, lined on the inside of it with red velvet. The cap rose to a height point with 10 other points spaced evenly across the rest of the crown. So there's 11 total, it looks like. The center point has a blood red ruby the size of a hen's egg, while each of the other 10 points had a large ruby in it also. The crown had many spells in it, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so we have a really good description there. Hey, lady Kepra Onk. Yeah, Reorx's beard. Let's do some drawing, right? See, and you can see the icon in Chris and Frylock's name. That shows that they are members. Thanks for joining live, Frylock, by the way. I'm not wearing my glasses, so I'm hoping that I'm reading these names correctly. So we do have a pretty good idea. Now, the other part of this is I want to create something that looks cool. So from the old school Dragonlance Adventures, this is what the Crown of Power looks like. So this is Tanis standing over Erica's and Lord Soth. This is what Lord Soth looked like, by the way, in like first edition. I'm not a big fan of it. It's just kind of weird. Anyway, this is the Crown of Power, right? Miceram. And it kind of looks stupid to me. It looks like some garish crown that I would not want to wear, And I certainly wouldn't want this as like my title or something. You didn't know the helmets had actual power in the D&D game? Well, I don't know about the regular Dragon High Lord helms, but the Crown of Power that was like the crown that Tanis stole in order to command the Dark Armies, that one did. And so throughout the years, different interpretations of what this crown might look like sprouted up. And as soon as the comic series came about, this is the exact same moment that we get here, where Tanis is walking up to him, and he sees Ericus's helmet. Ericus looks like a maniac right here, which is crazy. And this helmet actually looks a little bit, I want to say elven, because it has these thin, twisty, intertwining spires, right? It doesn't quite have the total of 11 that the description says it has. And we're only going to be doing a 2D straight-on view of this, so it's not really going to be the 3D, dimensional look. But then they also did this version as an alternative cover, I think, when these were created originally by Devil's Due Publishing. And I have to say, I love me the look of this. This is evil and it's dark and it's wicked. So I think, what do we got? 3, 6, 7 right there. 8, 9, 10, 11. So that would mean only 4 on the back end. So I'm going to change it a little bit. But I do like the idea of a little piece coming down a little bit on your brow so it rests there nicely a little bit. Here's another view of Lord Soth bringing the same crown to Kitiara. And can I be honest about Lord Soth for a second? I can't really be afraid of someone with tiny little bone phalanges. You know, tiny little bone fingers. There's just nothing scary about that. Like, put him in a gauntleted male glove, you know what I mean? Like a big old massive one. But that hand is just ridiculous. But yeah, this one looks tough as hell. I really, really like it. So I'm going to use that as my inspiration. And I think I want to do something that, I don't know, just kind of feels a little edgy like this. Like, this looks like Brahm to me, the artist. You know those images that Brahm painted of elves? They're all like crazy. You know, he did a lot of Dark Suns artwork too, but they're like crazy angular and spiky and stuff. It almost reminds me a little bit of like the Black Cauldron, the Horned King, how he had those awesome little horns coming up out of his head. So I want to do something similar to that. I'm not really sure. I'm going to stay away from that example. So what I'm going to do is just sort of sketch out a little bit and just try to wrap my head around what I want it to look like. So I'm going to create another layer here and have this be my sketch layer. And you guys can't actually see all the windows that are popping up for some strange reason, but it's okay. You don't need to. So I need to modify my brush here. I want it to have pressure sensitivity change so it adjusts with how much I push on my little tablet here. So I'm using a Wacom tablet, so you can kind of see. If I go to my brushes, you can't actually see anything because it didn't do anything. What the hell, Bobby? It was white. See the line? So you can see the variation in thickness. I'm not sure I really want to mess with that severely, so we're going to have to adjust that a little bit more. Let's drop it down. And we want like a 3 variation. Okay, that's better. So what I'm going to do is lock down these other layers to make sure that I don't accidentally, like, you know, delete them or something, or break them for some reason. I'm going to change this to a nice light, like a turquoise or something. And I just kind of want to sketch around until I can kind of see what it looks like. See, the black and red one is metal. You're right, dude. That looks badass. You know, you'd have no problem defeating Lord Soth. Your sun power would kill that effect. Nice. Hey, Joshua. Thanks for joining. How you doing? Yeah, it's hot as hell out here, so I would have my camera on, but I'm like just in a tank top, and it's just, I'm melting. I'm slowly just melting away. Okay, so what I want to do is sort of define, I haven't actually used this tablet in a while, as you can clearly see. My, my sketching is wretched. So what I want to do is define a sort of space for the head, right? So I don't know how much you guys are aware of like human anatomy or anything like that, but that your generic human head, your eyes sit at the halfway point, and you have endless variations of skull shapes and stuff due to, you know, the birthing process and, you know, everything else in between. But I want to get a basic idea of where this is going to be sitting on this dude's head, or on this young lady's head, whoever ends up having the crown of power, right? So we've got a basic face with 2 eyes, a nose, and a mouth, some cheekbones, and we'll throw in some ears here just for fun, right? Joshua, welcome. Dragon High Lord. Good to see you. So I'm thinking, let me do a different color for the crown. So I want the crown to kind of come mid-forehead, probably, and I want it to extend pretty high, that initial spire, you know, to go kind of high up in the air. And if there's 10 surrounding each side, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so then the third one would be sitting on the side of its head, you know, right around this space, however far out it's going to be, which means we would have 2 in the front rising here. And that leaves 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 3, 6, 4 for the back. I don't know. Is that too much? Should I knock it down a little bit less? I don't know. I don't know what I want to do. But I do like the idea of it coming to a really sharp point at the top here. And maybe if we do like, what if we do like little barbs? You know, like little wicked barbs that connect the rest of it together. So ultimately, you know, if this has got to come somewhere across the brow in some way here. And I don't actually mind having a little something coming down the side of the head a little bit too. I don't know, what do you guys think? Like flanking either side of the ears, right? To help sort of keep it in position. I don't know if that's a little bit too much. And at this point, I'm just sort of sketching and playing around with the idea of it before I actually do anything specific. But I do want to sort of get a generic idea. And then I'm going to come in here with an actual pen tool and really define this thing out. But I love the idea of these little thorns. And almost like fish hooks, you know what I mean? So if the center one, well, how many dragon armies we got? We got 5 dragon armies. So there's your main spire, which is going to be Tachesis for this middle crown. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then maybe the bottom spire is the 5th one. And we could have that be like barbed in the design aspect of it. So we've got the 5 dragons and the 1 reaching up to the air represented in this single, you know, sort of crown point. I think that would be kind of fun. And then that means for these other ones, I want them just a little bit, you know, like a little bit skewed out. Like they're like curving out a little bit away from the rest of it. And maybe even have it curved around. One thing I really dig about DragonLance, the DragonLance logo, is you have these little like claw pieces that come off of the logo itself. You can kind of see on the end of the L or right underneath the D. You know, it almost, I mean, right here, it almost looks like a little flamingo head or something. You know, get a long crane neck, get a little hairy belly, big old fat feet, a little flamingo. Anyway, so I like the idea of this being sort of curved out. I think I'll probably do the same, and I'll keep these ones just a little bit more, I don't know, a little, like, so it, you know, goes from top, as high as it can, down lower. And I'll probably play with the gems as well. So if we have 1 for Tachesis, 2, 3, 1, that's 6 still, that's too many. I don't think I'm going to be able to do that. I was going to do 1 for each of the dragon types, which I can still do, and just have the center right here be like, you know, because red's the dopest. I'll have that main ruby be right here in red, and then I'll have just, you know, other ones set in at different intervals. And I don't know, what do you guys think? Should I keep it the colors of, I mean, I'll keep the values the same so it doesn't look crazy, but should I keep the colors of the gems reflective of the different dragons? Or should I do something where it's like they're just a generic gem color, like they're all red or something? Yeah, I gotta do a Minotaurs too sometime, Robin. How you doing? Thanks for doing live, by the way. White. The worst part about white is you can't actually go white because then you wouldn't see it. So you got to go like a gray. And, you know, if once I like get in to actually start designing this out so everything's nice. I want to make sure it's reflected nicely, but hold on. This is going to drive me nuts. I got to get rid of this flamingo. It's just going to bug the shit out of me. All right, let's go back to finishing this out. Is this too many? Does this look a little too Tibetan? You know what I mean? Like, that's the one thing I don't want to do, is have it look comical or ridiculous. But again, who's going to be a member for 36 months to see it? I just can't imagine it. And then this would come down. I don't know. See, here's the problem with the crown. If, we're seeing a sort of ellipse of the crown, and we have the main spike, and we have the 3 on the front, and this is coming down for your forehead. If these are coming down on the side of the head, that might look a little bit freaking weird. So maybe I'll just do a little bit of like ornament, like right around here or something. You'll have like different little spikes coming out or something. Because I really love the spikes right here. You know how it's like curved in right there? Like right there. I love that. So maybe I'll sort of play with that a little bit. If I get these, I could, oh wait. I don't want it to look like curly hair though. I'm not drawing a Kitty-Yari, you know what I mean? All right. So I've got a basic sketch of, I don't know, a basic idea. We'll see what it ends up looking like. Now I'm going to move over to a different layer. I'm going to create this one called artwork. Or line drawing, probably, because the first layer is called sketch. And now I'm going to defer to the pen tool. So for those of you who don't know, I'm using Illustrator, Adobe Illustrator. And what I love to do is paint with the paintbrush and like my Wacom tablet brush, because I can get pressure sensitive sizes and stuff like that. But if I want to actually like be absolutely precise, then the pen tool is the best way. And what I'm going to do is basically visually cut this in half. So everything that you're seeing on the center that's sort of sketched out to the right, I'm going to do that half of it, then flip it around, join them, and then start to do designs on the inside and stuff. Is there art of human on heart? Wondering if the original 20 helms with faceplates. I don't understand what that question means, Robin, to be honest. Is there art of human on heart? Hey, Arrakis, thanks for joining live, by the way. Good to see you. All right, so this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to change my pen color to black so I can actually see the doggone thing. And I kind of just want to, just play with shapes a little bit. I want to see how deep I can get it without it looking... yeah, sort of ridiculous. I don't know, that's might be a bit too tight of a curve for what I'm looking for, but we're going to see. We're going to find out. And you guys tell me if this looks a little too goofy, because sometimes I can't even tell. And ultimately, I'm going to have it come on down here. You're doing some work and stumbled into your old Dragonlance book collection. Good on you, man. I hope you give it a chance and read some more. I don't like that spike. I got to change that. All right, so I'm going to come straight down. And it's going to be like a super delicate curve. I almost want it to curve out a little bit. You know what I mean? I'm going to have to play with this a little bit because I'm not liking how this is feeling. It is a little bit too Tibetan, I think, right now. I don't know. And the other side of this is how crazy do I want to get with this? Because ultimately, when you look at these, if you look at this one right here, you can see on the names how big they are, so it's really hard to see. So it's gonna be, super tiny when you actually get down to it. So I don't know if my little freaking out over angles is actually going to mean anything at all. I like the curved in, but that might be a little too much. I don't know, I can adjust it here later. But really, this is what happens when you get any creative in a room and you just start playing around. You know, you never get anything done because we're always like, well, maybe I'll try a little bit of this and see how it looks over here. And it gets to be pretty ridiculous. Like, that's what we're known for. Craziness. I do like the curved in, you know. All right, so this is, so we're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 spikes going up. So there's going to be a lot of callbacks to the chromatic dragons here. I want this to be kind of curved out this way here. And then we're going to join it up right with this bad boy. And just come right up with a real nice tight arc right here. Found a reasonably priced copy of Bertram's Guide to the Age of Mortals. What's reasonably priced, I wonder? Now here's a question. Should I do that curve that you see with the Dragonlance stuff, or should I just keep it like super spike? Because I do like the idea of like this tight little spike right here. And it comes out. Let's see. No, that's not going to do it. Just sort of freeform and just getting a feel of these, you know what I mean? Yeah, that's reasonable, man. Like, everything is so expensive nowadays. Everyone's hoarding their Dragonlance books. They don't want to sell them. And if they do sell them, they're going to try to get as much as they possibly can. And you know what? I can't really hate the player. So if you can get exorbitant prices for your stuffs, good on you. But it does kind of piss me off that people are taking advantage of people who just want to, you know, read a goddamn book. Like, I don't understand that mentality. All right, and you know what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some beveled edges and stuff, but before I do that, this might be just a little bit too... You got to have the end curved out so that you're not like catching your ear or anything like that. Yeah, I was a straight up idiot and I gave mine away to an old friend. And now that I want them back, there's no way in hell or earth that I'm ever going to ask him for it. I would just feel like a total dick, you know? I couldn't do it. And then we're going to come up here with a nice little spike before we go back down to the center. And what we need to make sure is that these centers line up. Because if they don't, it's going to cause all sorts of issues. So what you do is you take your direct selection tool and just grab the ends and then align them with your alignment grid there. So that should be a perfect half. Now, this is just a generic shape, so I'm going to, you know, sort of go off on it and do some other stuff. But this is the shape we have thus far for the crown. Yeah, I don't know how realistic that's actually going to end up being. All right, so we've got it joined. Let's join it on the bottom part too. And what I always like to do is anytime you create a shape, if at any point you're going to be manipulating the existing shape, you need to create a copy of it. So you always have a backup just in case you completely mess up. Because let's be honest, we frequently completely mess up. So now that I'm looking at this, I can see that there's not an actual enough room for like a band. for example, if this is going around your head, you might have a sort of oval that it's actually sitting onto your head with, you know what I mean? Like the whole of the actual crown as it's wrapping around your skull. We don't really have that here. So I'm going to have to create some space. I'm going to use that as a guide. And we're just going to grab all of our little points. And there's a number of ways that you could actually do this without, you know what, screw it, I'm going to do it a different way. Because I like these end sides here. I don't know if you can see my, once again, we get a computer graphics setting of the entire saga. Yeah. The inner points look pretty damn dragon-like. Good. That's what we're going for. So I want to select these bad boys. I just want to drop it down a bit. Because I want there to be a little bit of heft on that band of the crown, you know what I mean? And those are okay. Now I need to really drop these ones down. And then that center one, that should be going right down between your eyes at that point. So like, you know, how your brow sort of furls right here in the center, that should be a good spot there. And you're still going to have all of your hair coming up on the top, you know, so it's like nestles nicely on the top of your head. Not that it really matters. I mean, you just want it to look good. But might as well have some fun while you're doing it, right? All right, so if I'm using this as my guide, I want to create some bands that arc around it. Then I'm going to have sort of going with... And we have some natural curves right here, so maybe I can play with that a little bit. How am I going to do this? What if I do like a... let's find out. Let's see what we got. I feel just slightly like Bob Ross right now. You can do some happy trees. Let's do this right on top of it. Let me just get a nice wrap. And then we'll just duplicate this to connect it with the other side. And that looks fairly okay. So we're going to join these bad boys just so it's perfectly connected. Because later on, when I start adding fills and gradients and stuff, I want to make sure that I don't have any like crazy accidents or something, you know, with unjoined portions. All right, so we got one band. I kind of think it needs maybe even a concave and then a smaller one. So I like the idea of using this. I want to make a smaller one though. Maybe even just keep it tight, like super tight and small. It's like a brace, you know what I mean? I'm just going by sight here to see how it's going to work out, if it's going to work out. All right, so now we've got some basic crown shapes. And then now let's see, what else we got? Happy little wormlings. We are going to have to figure out, because what it was saying is the center point has a blood red ruby, the size of a hen's egg. I need to look at a ruby and see if it's just... So it is a faceted... And rubies are like either circular or square or diamond. It just totally depends on how they're cut and shaped. And what we've got right here that I turned off, it's kind of nice oval shape. I do like the idea of having like gems going up. I think that's pretty dope looking too. So I'm going to rough in some areas for these gems just so we can get a good idea about where they're going to rest. Gosh, this is feeling really Tibetan to me. It's not necessarily a bad thing, but it does. That is what it reminds me of. So we're going to have some smaller ones down here. And a smaller one up here. So this is like the center, you know. His third eye, as it were. Hey, from Puerto Rico, how you doing? Lord Richard PR. I'm going to put on some music real quick. You guys want to listen to the DragonLance soundtrack? Since, you know, channel and all. Might as well, right? Of course, I can't hear anything. Let me know if you guys hear this. There we go. All right. Gotta wait for the chorus to come in. Okay. We got our crown. We've got our main gems. Let's make sure everything is centered nice. Beautiful. And now it also has some gems on the other side, as it says, right? Each of the other 10 points had a large ruby on it also, is what it says. So what I don't want to do is sort of challenge the look of this primary ruby in the center here. So I'm going to make these other ones just slightly, oops, a little bit larger, but not to the, let's try to get a nice angle here. Not to the size of the center one, you know what I mean? So we're going to do that and just flip it horizontal so it's perfectly angled in contrast. And then these ones will be just a smidge smaller. Those are going to be the white and black dragons. They're just not as important. There's nothing wrong with it, you know? I mean, they have their role. They did their job. No shame. All right. So now we've got each of our spires for this crown of power, Miceram. I want to get some designs going on in here, because I think that's going to be a lot of fun to play with. So initially, I think what I want to do is do like almost like here, give me a second. This anchor point is way too big. Because I don't want it to follow that line exactly, because these interior designs are just going to be kind of playing with the shape a little bit. You know what I mean? And then maybe even coming down in like a deep... Oh, what am I going to do here? That's not right. Let me take a step back. I want it to be like bold. Doesn't feel bold enough. I want this to arc up. See how we have more space here than right here? I really want to play with that thick and thin vibe. So let's just sort of go crazy with it, right? I mean, we can even just throw caution to the wind, hit that anchor point, and then come right back up real high. And ultimately what this means for the design is that when I start coloring it, I'm going to use these sort of shapes to help add dimension with gradients and stuff. So similar to what I did with these things, is you can see the shapes going through the brows. You know, these just creating different form factors for the color to play with, for the eye to play with. That's what I want to do with this. Just sort of play with it. It doesn't feel quite right yet. And again, whatever I'm doing on one side, I'm going to be echoing on the other, literally just copying. Are these lined up? And that's gonna, well, I'm gonna fill it, so that won't matter. All right, so how far do I want these designs? Do I want them isolated onto the... I think I'm going to have to isolate it onto the actual spire itself. You know what I mean? Oh yeah, and then we're just going to stop right here and have it fold right back down on itself. Oh, we could even have it go deep over here. And just echo that shape. Oh, and see how this curve is coming down? We can just play right into that. Just go right back up to that curve, you know what I mean? What I want to do is try to follow that real nicely. That's not good enough. This is not curved enough. There we go. Get that little spike. One thing you notice about these anchor points, as soon as, depending on the angle of the stroke itself and your weight of stroke, it's actually going to cut off into a square or it's going to break out into a point. None of that really matters because I'm not going to be using this fill, the lines, at all. I'm going to be using a fill to add gradient and stuff. If that makes any sense. Alright, so we need this to go nice and tight with that line. And I'm bouncing back and forth between viewing modes from outline to the actual artwork layer so I can see how my lines are, well, lining up. Alright, does it cost anything to stream on Twitch too? Because you get 1 sub with Amazon Prime. You've always been leery of using cards online. I've only used Twitch a couple times. I have no idea. I'm streaming with a program called XSplit Broadcaster, and it just allows me a little bit more control. So I'll have to look into it because I think I can stream with it as well. But again, it's just me guessing because I'm not entirely sure. Shorten this bad boy. We want to be more of a natural curve, but this is a tighter space here. And what this is going to do is create a really interesting form factor shape once I add in the gradients. And you want it to... I gotta close that up just a bit. I want to follow the shape of that little gem that's going to be set there. And really the point of this is to make sure that we're following the natural curves that exists already. All right, so this goes straight up. And then we come down around this space here. Oh, shit. I gotta close that off. You turd. There. We want to follow it out just a little bit. Close that off. Go straight for a bit, and then try to pick this curve right up. Let's look at it. That looks pretty good. I mean, ultimately, once I get this down, and I might as well do it right now so you can see how I do this, if any of you actually care. Illustrator is just shapes, right? So you're just using different shapes, combining and subtracting them from each other in order to create one solid image. And so right now I have one line that's going down the, creating this sort of curvature, but it's not connected to anything. So if I did fill it, and let me just show you what it would look like if I did. Let me back up. If I did fill it, then it's not going to fill it as if it was a full shape, right? Because it's going from endpoint to endpoint. So I need to fill in that gap, but then I also want to subtract that from the crown shape behind it to give it form. So I'm going to sort of just kind of cheat a little bit and just play with it. Now, once I have all these done and I echo them on the other side, I can create shapes out of the entire thing and subtract all the shapes that I don't want. So you'll see what I'm talking about once I'm done. I don't know about I don't know about that, Joshua. I've been doing this for, this is my career, you know, this is what I do for a living. Not draw stuff like this, but, you know, as a designer, I have to know these programs back and forth. Okay, so let's do this last one. And we don't have a ruby. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I don't know that we need a ruby for that last one. You know, it'd be a side-facing ruby. Oh, shit, why not? I'll just give it a little something, you know? Maybe it's just... Gosh, that bugs me. That's not very smooth. I don't like the side ruby. It's a little too much like an earmuff. Screw that. This is not Princess Leia. Stick figures are great, man. They are great. Alright, so we want to do that wide, fat arc that closes nicely up to the edge here. And even though we don't have a gem on this one, let me grab this anchor point here. This handle. Even though we don't have a gem here, I still want to follow that same same design cues that I've already, you know, been using so far. Just so the whole thing feels like it makes sense. I'm gonna have to fix these. This is driving me nuts. Come here, you. Yeah, I gotta fix that. And then we're going to come out here and then just block it in. This is because this handle is way outside of where it should be. And this bad boy is not giving me what I want. There you are. Alright, this is kind of bugging me because it doesn't feel uniform visually. We gotta sort of play with it just a bit. I might have to add another anchor point just to get it right. But I don't know how important this is, to be 100% honest. I mean, really what we're doing is finishing out the edge. We're not really fleshing out much more than that. Okay. Now we got to do the center. Now this one's going to be a little bit more interesting because we've got to... How are we going to do this? I got it. Got it. That's too chunky. We need to tone this down just a bit. Come here, handle. Yeah, I'm not feeling this. This is... Ugh! Ugh! Come on! No, screw that. I gotta start again. Come here, you. Oh, you turd. Unbelievable. Alright, we're going to do one right here. And then we're going to curve it nice, fat, far away, and bring it right back in tight. But then we're going to be bringing it right back down. We just want to get this nice, thick, fat curve. Gotta love those thick curves. Know what I'm talking about? Get it nice and tight right there. And then bring this bad boy down. Well, I want to keep it there, but this thing is a little too far away. Let's bring it in closer. If I can grab the damn handle. Come here, you. Don't be running away. You know, one of my favorite horror film lines is from the remake of A Nightmare on Elm Street. And it's not even a particularly good version of the film. And it's definitely not my favorite Freddy Krueger. I think Robert Englund's the best, of course. But he like traps one of the stupid college kids or high school kids, I guess they're supposed to be, but they're all clearly like grown-ass adults. Captures one of the kids in a classroom, and he's like screaming, trying to wake himself up. And Freddy just says, Why are you screaming? I haven't even cut you yet. It's just the most wicked, evil thing you could possibly say to someone who's just waiting to die. That's so dope. Why are you screaming? I haven't even cut you yet. God, I just love that so much. It's like, damn right, man. Why are you screaming? Stop being a baby. You're gonna be killed by Freddy Krueger. Is there any greater honor than death by Krueger? All right, so we're gonna tie it in there. And then I need to play around with the actual rubies themselves, but I just want to get some shape. What you always have to be careful with when you're doing this stuff is not to overwork. Oh yeah, Rakus. It was a while ago that it came out, but it's worth seeing if you like Nightmare on Elm Street, which I'm obsessed with it since I was a kid. My parents had oh hold on, let's just do all this at once. My parents had HBO for only long enough to find out what was on it and what I was watching. And as soon as they realized what I was watching on it, they straight up got rid of it. Because they're like, there's no way I'm going to have my son watching all this nudie stuff at 5 years old or whatever I was. But it was back, when it was all kind of new and stuff. See, look at that. How did I not have that perfect? Which means that this is the same. Son of a... That's frustrating. I want this to come to a nice, sharp point. I do not want one of those fat, broad... Ugh. Don't like it. But what it does do is... Oh, shit. Nope, that was the wrong one. Damn it. I'm going to have to fix that in a second. What it does do is give me the opportunity to go through here and, get it perfect. That should be the center line, but I'm having second thoughts here. So, one thing, if you want to get something mathematically perfect, just pull up some rulers and mark your point with a ruler, and then come right up the top and match it up. That way, no harm, no foul. Just stack those anchor points. And these two anchor points have got to join. And you have those stacked right on top. Anchor to anchor. And what we should have... Why is that not a point? Is this nice crown shape? Okay, so this is a... You know what? Let me do a little something down here real quick. I don't like that it's... it's sort of just left out. It doesn't feel like it's loved. If there's one thing I want to make sure it feels, it's love. Man, I was reading the Tales Volume 3, so I can do the review for this weekend, or I don't know, whenever I'm going to do it. And I forgot all about that Sturm Brightblade story. Like, 100% completely forgot it even existed. And I kind of fell in love with that pirate woman. I can't remember her name this second, but she was dope. She was like almost exactly like Kitiara. And what's cool about that is that this is when Sturm was, exiled from his home. His dad sent him off with his mom and some like a maid and a guard. They get captured by these pirates, and then he meets this girl who, at 11 is his age, he feels completely sort of sexually drawn to her, but he's 11, so he doesn't really understand what that means. And this woman is this empowered pirate in charge of pretty much everything, and she just, if you don't listen to her, then she's gonna kill you, and you're just gonna end up listening to her because she's a badass. And it reminded me exactly of Kitiara. except, you know, different look and stuff. And so this is when he was fleeing Solamnia, heading towards Solus, and he meets this beautiful, empowered woman who doesn't take shit from anyone, and he sort of, you know, sexually is awoken by her. Cut to, I don't know, 9 years later, whenever they all separate for the 5 years, the companions, and he leaves with Kitiara back toward Solamnia. And he ends up falling for her wiles and having a baby, right? And like, well, she has the baby, but impregnating her. And it's just really beautiful, sort of poetic echo between him sexually awakening on his sojourn south and then his fulfillment of that sexual awareness on his way north. I never thought about it before reading it, and now I can't stop thinking about it. I just think it's beautiful. But let's be honest, Kitiara probably taught him everything he knows. I cannot imagine Sturm knowing anything about anything sexually. Let me move you out a little bit. Let's keep it nice and... Oh gosh, why are you doing this? It's just, it's too hard of, right there. That's the money spot. Oh, you freaking turd. Come here. Come here. Oh, I'm gonna kill you. There you go. Oh, no, this one isn't quite there, is it? It's not even touching it. What the crap? See, I start talking about Sturm's sexual awakening and nothing's lining up anymore. Nothing's working. I do really love these damn stories, though. Probably more than I should. Being a grown-up, you know? Like, I read these when I was in middle school. At what point do you just sort of move on? I haven't moved on yet. It's kind of weird. Kind of weird. What are you going to do? Alright, we're coming back in. We're going to do a bit of a wide arc on this final one. Bring it right back down toward this solid home point. Ugh, that's rough. That is rough. Right around this space. Thanks for you feeling old. Hey, it's nature, man. It hits all of us. What are we going to do? You know, we can't deny it. We just have to accept it. Okay, so I'm going to have these sort of meeting up. I don't know where I'm going to have these meet up. Where am I going to have these meet up? Should I have it just echoed like with the top so it comes right... Here, let me shorten this bad boy. So it just follows that curved line. I don't like that yet. Hold on. I'm going to drop this handle down. And we can just follow this line straight across. You know what? Let's just do it straight like this. Okay, however, now that I've done that, I need to drop these down because that looks funky. We need... Oh, see, and now I just ruined the whole damn thing. Ugh! Why? I'm not sure I like that. I like how it's echoing. You know what? No, I don't like that at all. Undo is your friend. So is save, by the way. I need to save this thing. That's how I feel about it. Is I really do love me some, like how it feels, how the nostalgia feels, you know. I love reconnecting with this campaign world. I'll make sure this is right on the point it is. And then I'll drag this over, mirror it, flip it horizontal, and connect it. That is going to be a little wonky. But again, what we're looking at are... What the hell? Why is that not... This should be touching. Touch me. I wanna be dirty. You guys ever watch Rocky Horror Picture Show? Another truly great show. Alright, so what we've got is some curved edges on the outer edge and interior of this crown. I'm going to remove the shapes that we don't need anymore, similar to what we have on the, you know, this space on the brow and the forehead and around the eye sockets here. So we want it to be similar. We don't want it to be exact. And clearly we don't want that. And we don't want to copy what these guys are doing. But I do want to be inspired by this because I think that's really, really, truly great. You haven't seen Rocky Horror Picture Show? Oh my goodness gracious me. I will say, you can't be a bigot and watch that show and enjoy it. If you're a bigot, and I'm not saying you are, I'm just in general, and you don't like other lifestyles, you're probably not going to like it. Because, I mean, it's, you know, he's a sweet transvestite from transsexual Transylvania. You know, like, it doesn't get much better than that, but that's what he is. So if you don't like gay people, you don't like trans people, you're not going to like Rocky Horror. It's just how it works. All right, so what I'm doing here is I selected all of the different shapes that I have, and I broke them apart. So now you can see that I can select the shapes that are crossing over other shapes' boundaries, and I can just move them away and remove them. Hey, Michael, thanks for joining live. We are creating the Crown of Power right now. So you came in just in time to see this crown really, really present itself in its full glory. So I can, you know, if I really wanted to, I could, hold on a second. I need to combine these. Oof, that's rough. That is rough. Ugh. I gotta fix that. Speaking in half thoughts because I'm also trying to pay attention to what I'm doing while I'm talking to you guys. Oof. Oh, mama. No, I'm just messing that up. So we've got a line right there. Why is this one looking all funky? Get your ass where you belong. There you go. All right, Crown of Power. This is what it looks like as a line art. Of course, it's going to look different. And we're going to have to add some stuff for the... Oh, you son of a... Come here. Come on. Why can't I grab it? Come with me. There. Let's get rid of these guides here. There we go. All right, let's see. What is your guys's? What do you guys think about? What is the most overrated character, in your opinion, in all of Dragonlance? Let's do that. Let's just have a little bit of fun with a little Q&A, and we'll just sort of riff on those ideas. What is the most overrated character? Go. I'm gonna do a little swirly stuff in here. Taz overrated? I thought most people hated Taz for some reason. You know what? I'm about to lose my mind. Stop moving. There we go. Of course, you say stuff like that and some people are going to lose it. How dare you not like my favorite character? You know what I mean? You get a lot of that in the Dragonlance fandom. Like, you either like it the way I like it, or you're not a real fan. Which I always find really, really funny. Just the sheer arrogance, you know, that everyone must, the solipsism involved. You must think the way I do, or else you don't matter. I don't know. I'm going to figure something out with those. I'm not there yet. Let's get some color in this, shall we? So what I'm going to do is combine all of the primary shapes. That's like the base layer of the crown. And we're just going to sort of group them. Remove our stroke. Oh, nope. Hold on. Hold on a second. I gotta figure this out. Why can't I select you, frick turd? Is there nothing there? Oh, there is. Alright. I just realized that this is backwards for this central spire because of my design. It's my fault. So let's see what we're doing here. Okay. Okay. So we're not going to be using black, of course. Not that there's anything wrong with it, but what we want to do is do some form of like gradient fill to give it shape. You know what I mean? So we're going to choose... Now this says, the description of this says it's bright gold with the inside with a red lining. Let's see. So we've got Taz. Yeah, people freak out about Taz. I don't know why they hate him so much. I think it's just because they probably had a negative experience, or they don't like the silliness of Taz or something. I don't know. You love Taz. You'll say Lord Soth. We didn't see enough of him kicking ass. That is a bold statement, Chris. Yeah, I can see your point though, and I'll say it like this. Lord Soth, because he was presented differently in Ravenloft versus Dragonlance, it's easy, because I did this. And I don't know, maybe I'm saying it's easy because I don't want to look like an idiot. It's easy to confuse the Dragonlance Lord Soth with the Ravenloft Lord Soth, and there is a significant difference between the two. So I could see that if you are just talking about this sort of Knight of Slamnia who was shamed, realizes his shame, and lives his life just sort of in sorrow and acceptance of his fate, then that would be kind of overrated, I think. The Ravenloft Lord Soth went a little bit more down the line of, yes, I'm a bad guy and I like it, you know? So it is a totally different perspective, which is why I can understand why Tracy Hickman was not happy about it. But, you know, whatever. What are you gonna do? So what we want to do is sort of find these colors that we can then modify a little bit, you know? Like, we want a little bit of a contrast between light and dark as we do this. So we've got our circle. We're going to grab our gradient tool and just do a uniform wash. And what that's going to do is give us a really nice light to dark, and I'm going to center it right on the center of this gem here. A really nice light to dark gradient that we can then go in and kind of play with a little bit. So, for example, because we have some curves here, I want to play off the curves of that. And probably move it around this space. Because ultimately, we want this to look like it has a little bit of depth. But again, because it's going to be so tiny, you're not really going to be able to see it that much. We don't want to go overboard. But if we don't give it any depth, then it's just going to look like a coloring book. And screw that. Even though I love me some coloring books. Alright, who else? Let's see, to be honest, probably Raceland. Maybe because everyone I know who wants to be a wizard worships that character as a god. I admit he's awesome, but overrated. Wow, that's a bold statement too. Yeah, Raceland Majir being overrated. Man, I don't know. I can't really see it. I think he suffered enough to warrant his, I don't know, his weirdness, his craziness, his, you know, who he is. All right, now this is actually still the surface here. But I want this to be like a metallic sheen almost, right? So we want to have some like multiple reflecting points. So let's do this one really bright. Get it nice, tight, and close to the other one so it's a hard cut line. And let's do one a little bit further out that's a little more red, less green. So that it looks like there's a nice little shimmer, you know what I mean? And this one we're gonna bring it up right as well to give that nice sort of balance between the two. And then this is actually going to be a horizontal. You can already see it right there. And just get a nice little sheen right down the center, you know? Give it a little bit of body, a little shape, which is kind of nice. Raceland and Soth are badass. I agree, I guess. Let's see. Greetings, Jason. Thanks for joining live. Apakapuki. I don't know what that means. Wasn't there a lich named Azalin? That sounds familiar. Is that in Ravenloft? I don't really know. So what we're going to do is that same sort of trick that we did up here. I want to echo down here. So we want this. But gosh, here's the problem, is I have this in two different shapes. Come here, you freaking turd. So I want it to show that it's a different feel, you know, like it just looks different. I don't know. I'm not sure it's there yet. We want this to be real nice and subtle. I want to get some real dark, hard edges down here so you can see the curvature of that inlay. Know what I mean, Jelly Bean? Let's get this one nice and big and fat. Start up here. I want that curve, you know. It's money right there. It's getting nice and just a kiss. Come here. Right there. So we can see that line. That's what I want. And then I'll go in and do the gems after I'm done. Soth got screwed in Ravenloft. I don't know. You know, I mean, he accepted his fate, and after sort of... Oh, Azalin wasn't a lich. It was that... wasn't that his... Were-Badger Seneschal? Was it Azalin? Now I'm not even sure. I don't know anything anymore. What's happening? It's the Crown of Power. I think maybe that's what it is. Alright, so we can see those nice little design cues on the inside, but it doesn't overpower it with the, you know, like it did with the black lines and stuff like that. So now, I mean, I could either echo it over here or just say screw it and just copy and paste them. And just be done with it, right? That's the theory. So let's see if it bears true. I personally think the most overrated character in all of Dragonlance is Fizban. Fizban drives me nuts. I do not like Fizban. I do not like him at all. I think he is a punk. He plays way too dumb. And I understand he's being played for comedic value, but screw that dude. No, I don't like it. He's an idiot. I don't like idiots. That's nice. You're almost done with War of Souls. You have time for one more trilogy before the new book. Should I do King Priest or the Mina? Neither of those are germane to the new book era, so personally, I would do Mina. The first Dark Disciple novel in the trilogy is so good. It's just so good. It made me so much happier. It really contextualized Mina as a character for me. And it brought in Chemish in a really beautiful way. And I know people say his name differently than I do. And it was sexy, you know? And that was when I was older when it came out. And so it aged well with me. However, the second one starts to go downhill, and the third one just sort of drops off the face of the planet. It's just weird, and I don't know why they did the things that they did. Kind of made me mad. Because it was just strange, you know? The choices made for that character were just... Oh, no, I'm down with that. That's cool. Yeah, the choices were just weird, is all. Alright, so yeah, we got some nice depth right there. That feels really, really good to me. I want to mirror that on the other side. So, but first I want to get rid of these shapes with the stroke. We'll just move this nice. Get in home, and what the hell is that? What are you doing? Used a black mark? What are you... Where the hell did you come from? What is that? What is that? I can't even select it because it's not even a thing. There you are. There you are. You turd. Alright, so let's go and get this one. Because, as you know, we just echoed each side. I don't know what's happening over here. There is all sorts of weird stuff happening over here. What is that? What is happening? Ah! No. I do not like it, Sam I am. What the hell is going on? That was weird. Alright, let's see. Coming out with a new Dragonlance book, Dragons of the Seat, yes, in August. 2 August is when it's supposed to be out, I think, if you've pre-ordered it. So you remember how they divided Ravenloft into areas and Soth seemed kind of insulting compared... Well, yeah, it's supposed to be. I mean, it's supposed to torment you, right? That's the whole spiel. So these, I want to echo that face plate here of that center, but I want it to go from... See, I've got to match it up a little bit, but it just feels weird. I don't know how I like that. I don't know how I feel about this. I think I gotta change it. What if I do it vertically? No. What if I do it like this? Dude, this is just getting worse and worse. I don't know, that's not terrible, right? It's okay. The shapes are there, but I don't know, I'll probably mess with this after I'm done with the live stream. Okay, so what is not the most overrated, what is the most underrated character in your humble opinions? I think that would be a good talking point. Because let's be honest, there are definitely some underrated characters. Just don't get the loving that they deserve as heroes or whatever. Okay, it's like super bright here. Get some nice dark colors. I don't want it to be like ridiculous here, but I do want it to, you know, to be bold. Let's see what this looks like, shall we? No. Why aren't you, That's why. I had the wrong layer chosen. That's why. Alright, so let's do this. Where are we gonna do this line here? I wonder if we do like a multiple layer of it, right? So what if I do like some highlights? Oh damn it! Now I'm gonna hold on. Give me a second. I'm gonna cut these apart. Oh, that's too far. There. By subtracting shapes. And then maybe just do like a pure fill. Like Ruby. Is that too much? I could always add some visual effects a little bit here. Alright, so this is gonna be like back here, you know? You're hardly gonna see any of this. But I do kind of like how that looks. I like the vibe. Alright, so the top and bottom one are gonna be echoing the center. Oops. So let's work with those really quick. And then let's just take that little highlight and move it on up. Yeah, that's good. Good enough anyway. Let's move this bad boy down here. So we got a little bit of shape and reflection in our gems. A little bit of fun. Underrated. Okay, so underrated. I think people underrate Sturm all the time. Everyone's like, oh, I hate him. I don't understand. Why is he such a good, you know, goody two-shoes? I don't think Odic gets enough credit just for being a great human being. Like, he took in this Tika. He took this young girl. He has no reason to care. She's just a thief that he caught stealing from his inn. And he's like, I'm going to give this kid a chance. And there's something beautiful about that, you know? Hold on a second. I want to add a little setting to this gem so it's not just flat on it, but it's actually like in it, you know? You've got another rogue black part. Do you see it? There. Now it looks like it's like sitting in the crown a little bit. What are you doing here? What is this? And why is that not meeting up? That meets up. Did I just not connect it right and that's why it looks all wonky? That's frustrating. Taz is underrated according to Chris. I dig that. Thing is, if you think about Tasselhoff Burfa in Legends. When they all go up, they tell Taz, look, you need to stay your ass down and you just stay on the ground. We're going to go up into this flying citadel and we're going to deal with it because we're adults and you're not an adult. You're a crazy little Kender who gets his fingers in everything. He goes up there and it turns out he's the one that saves them from crashing and dying because of his actions. So if he did listen to them, they would all be dead. So he definitely needs a little bit more respect, I think. Alright, we want this to be nice and get in here. Try to get this as centered as possible. Because I don't mind it being just slightly off because no one's really going to notice it, but I know it's there. And that's what really bugs me. We've got another doggone rogue black point. Black root. You never ever feed a baby black root. Oh, just to top it off. You freaking turd. Just going rogue. That's what it's doing. It's just going rogue. Don't like it? Get. All right. No one would ever have seen it anyway, though. You know, it's just so tiny. Oh, what happened to my reflection? It's just gone now. Any other stories with the entire party together besides the original trilogy? There's the Companions novel. You know, I think that's literally what it's called. There's a lot of short stories with a lot of the companions together too, like Tales Volume 3, the one I'm reading, Love and War, right now. It has a bunch of stories with, well, even Volume 2 I think had one of them, but it has a bunch of stories with the all the companions together, doing, you know, there's sort of misadventures. Brothers in Arms had all the companions together going into Haven. And that wasn't the, what's it called? That wasn't the Seeker religion, because they worshipped like a snake god. You know, it was just all a made-up thing with this illusionist that was, you know, trying to just find a position of authority and power. And the Seekers came in after. And so you can actually blame the companions for the Seeker movement making headway into Haven, because they're the ones that cleaned out the lizard god cult. You know, that was like the whole thing. It was the whole business. It was crazy. Okay, so what I want to do is take what I've done. You know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to duplicate these, make them just slightly bigger. Just copy exactly what I did here. There we go. That's good enough. So it's all their fault. They did it. They're all thinking they're badass, saving the day, and they made the very religion that would then try to kill them later. Oh, the irony. Let's get this thing. So I think for this, like, this is the 36-month crown. I think for the next one, I'm just going to do that black coloring for the 48. I think that's going to look dope. Why doesn't that match up? That is very weird. Hello, Goldmoon. How you doing, hon? Good to see you. Okay, what else you got? Karaman's always protecting his brother no matter what. Devotion, selfless, even when Raceland is in search of power. Yes, Michael, Karaman is too good of a person. No one deserves that man. Like, Tika's the only one that deserves Karaman. He is too good of a doggone character, I think. I don't like that. I'm not jiving with it. Not jiving with that either. Ugh, you frickin' turd. Bah! What if we just did it super close? Maybe not that close. You gotta find the right placement, you know what I mean? I'm just gonna duplicate those for the other side once I get them, and then I'm gonna use Colorize to change the color to the different dragons' colors, you know. But what I want to do is get just a touch of this reflection in here. Just to, yeah, you know. Like the light is coming off of it. All right. Yes, I'm using Adobe Illustrator CC, Creative Cloud version. I think it's like 20 some odd by now. All right, so we have the red in the center. So on either side of that, we should have equally powerful colors like blue and black, I think. And then out from that, we could have green and white. I think that would be a good balance. So this is going to be either green or white. So we just want to shift our colors, our color palette over, right? Maybe play a little bit so it's a little bit brighter, so that when it does touch that white on the other side, it's not so stark. You know what I mean? And then this one would be let's do this one black. I don't know how the hell I'm gonna do black, to be honest. I'm gonna have to like, ooh boy. Grays? Yeah, there we go. Oh. We'll see what it all looks like together. Because some of these might look just totally wonky and just weird. So this is going to be blue, but I want to add this little highlight first. All right, let's get out of... Oh, damn it. I screwed that up. Oh, I screwed it up. Dang it. Dang it, dang it, dang it. All right, if I'm going to have to just do it over again, I'm just going to do it over again from here. So we want to go right around this space here. So get a little form to it, a little shape to it, you know what I mean? And let's throw in a little highlight. And then select it all and go blue. So let's go into our blue space colors. I want to keep it kind of deep so that it reflects well, tonally off of, you know, the values are a little bit closer to the black. Clearly they're not going to be right on, but what are you going to do? Your crown. This is yours, huh? All right. Hey, Argent. Thanks for joining live. Yeah, so Dragons of the Seat is part of the Destinies trilogy. And, yeah. I don't know how to feel about it. I'm really not even sure whether I'm gonna, I like the idea of it. I love the idea of a new Dragonlance book. That I am down for. But it's the idea of that Dragonlance book being retreading old ground, you know? And I don't know. You know, I could be way off base. How would I know? The book hasn't come out yet. Maybe it's not covering any of the old ground. But it certainly seems like it is through the little teasers that we're getting. All right, so this thing was white, right? So we need to shift our color scheme to a brighter one. So let's just sort of lighten everything up just a skosh. Is that, people say that still? Skosh? Alright. Come on, black. What's he doing? How come you ain't lighting it up? I'll have to do it over here. What the what? Let's see, we've got some real dark spots here that we don't want because it's white. There, that's good. Okay, so we're seeing a little bit of color, so that's the white dragon, a little bit of light. So here's what we got. We got the Crown of Power. Hold on a second. What if? Oh, it's on a different layer. You boogie. What if he's holding this thing up instead, you know? Like, does it still hold up as a crown? The Crown of Power. Like, I've got the crown. Suck it. Or like this one, which is just so cool looking in comparison. If instead he held our Crown of Power. You know, I'll shift the entire color scheme to a lot darker, like reds and blacks for the 48-month one. But, I mean, not bad, right? It's a little wicked, it's a little weird. I kind of dig that. What I'm not 100% happy with, however, I'm going to fix right now, is this. You know, I want some depth. I need something that's going to give me some sort of idea that this is, in fact, dimensional. Because it's not quite there yet. You can do this with blending modes and, you know, just playing around like that. I want it to be darker, not lighter, but I also don't want it to be that dark. So I want to show dimensionality. But I don't want to overpower it, you know? So we move this back. You know what? We're just going to do that one. Go straight across. And just do a tiny, tiny little touch. And we'll just select what we've already done. So now you, oh, you turd. So now you can see there's a little bit of dimensionality in this band. You know, like a little bit of a shadow on the bottom. Be curious and cautious about the new trilogy. You pre-order just for the signed copy. Yeah, I'm not a big, like, signature fan, but I did, like, order the books, of course, because I'm a maniac. All right, what do I need to do to make this better? Or do you guys think that this is okay for what it is? For a crown of power. And the truth is, we got to think of this in terms of a square, right? Because this is, you know, these helmets are easy as a square. Move this whole thing aside. Because it almost fits the entire height. It doesn't fit the width. And this is the exact opposite, where it fits the width really well, but it doesn't really fit the height. But that might be okay if that's just sitting right next to your name, you know? That might be all right. So we did a couple things. I do feel like this is very Tibetan in design. Just the way, you know, these sort of spirals and spikes on the edges and that central little elevated spot here. I mean, what if... Because I could do a whole... Let me play with this for a second. What if this is like the outer casing, but underneath we do have this sort of darker... Here, give me a second. This darker bit that kind of goes through almost like a web, you know, binding everything together. But it would be underneath it, right? It would be on the back end of it. Like inside. So I don't want it black. You know, that's just a little bit too much. But I do like the depth that adds. You know what? I don't mind the black. Let's try it again over here. See what we got. I mean, that's not bad. Right? Am I crazy? It just adds a little bit of color for it adds a base for the color to jump off of, which I kind of dig. Let's save it real quick. I'm totally gonna mess this up if I lose it. You leave for an hour in Gold Moon and the Koishu stops by. Hey Robin, thanks for joining live. Taz stolen the car. That would be fun. That would be the worst 80s film ever. I think it'd be too much to do it to the bottom too. Alright, so I do kind of like that. I think I'm probably gonna stop with that. Because we have some black in the eye holes here, so it adds a nice balance to that. We got some nice golden gradients that are playing off of each other. But again, this is the Crown of Power. It's got to be its own special little thing. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to copy that. And then I'm going to see what we can do about changing the color of this bad boy. I'm going to have to go in here and select every single one of these stupid jewels. Because like an idiot, I did not group them together. All right. So now... Get! All right, now let's recolorize this. I want this to be darker and menacing. Let's get in some purple spaces. Maybe not. Jeez. All right, what can we do here? We want this to be dark and menacing, and I want to do like crimsons and stuff. What if we get in some like deep, deep crimson colors? These like the highlights, Get a good, strong, dark base. And just see where it takes us. See what happens. We might get a little bit of weird. Might get a little funky. But let's have some fun with it, right? Oh, yeah, you got some purples. Purples are great. Nice contrasting. We'll stay in that blue-purple era. Oh. Oh, shit. Oh, shit. What do we got? Oh, get in there. I like it dark like that. Let's see where we can go with this, and then we can adjust stuff after the fact. That purple might be too much. I'm gonna have to probably change that. But we do need the colors to bounce off of each other so that it doesn't just feel flat. You know what I mean? That's not bad. It's not great, but it's not bad. So black is going to stay black. Where are these coming in? Because I don't see this gray in there. Do you guys? Am I crazy? Is that too wonky? Is that not dark enough? I don't know. I can never tell because I'm too close to it, you know what I mean? Like I'm making it, so... Here, let's get them away from everything else. Ah! So we can see them, just the two of them, isolated, totally. And just take a look. How does that feel to you guys? I think we might be there. The gems look a little wonky on the red crown, but as in like the colors. I'm just not there. I'm not there. I need that darker. I want it to be like super dark. It's just not dark enough. Damn it. I wonder what I can do. Maybe if I blend it a little bit. And that way it's just sort of playing off of the colors underneath it slightly, sharing the value of them, you know. I feel like that needs to be darker. But I still want it to be green, you know. So the white one's brighter, this one's darker. Should I play with these being darker? Can you tell it's gem if it's too dark? Am I just talking to myself? It needs more cowbell is what it needs. More cowbell. Nah, I don't know. I agree the gold feels much more sort of majestic, I guess. But who's going to be a member that long to see it? Let's be honest. No one, that's who. All right, so I'm going to take these. I'm going to create the gold one is going to be the 36 month. The red one is going to be the 48-month icon. And then these are all, varying months together. Like this is the 24-month. And then these each have different time references applied to them as well. So you definitely get a good grasp of what I'm working with and what I'm trying to do here, I think. At least I hope, anyway. Let me unlock these and get rid of these reference images. And add another artboard. Because I want those to be in the exact same spot together. And it's got to be isolated in the perfect middle of the square. There. All right, and that's it. Those are the new member badge icons. That's right, Michael. There's only one cure. Maybe I'll just do a big cowbell. That'll be the icon for the character. For you guys. You like the red one more now? All right. I'll take it. Does it look wicked enough? Does it look powerful enough? Does it look Crown of Power enough? Because I want it to be dope. I want Erica's to be sitting on his throne wearing this thing just like a boss. That's what I want. I don't know. It's good enough. Thank you guys so much for tuning in with me, crafting these. I really appreciate your interaction, your back and forth with the different ideas of, most overrated and underrated characters and, what you like about the novels and which ones you're reading and stuff like that. I like the interaction. It helps time go by a little bit faster. But more importantly, it connects us as fans of this wonderful genre, this wonderful campaign world, And I don't know. Maybe we don't want to be connected too much, but from time to time, it's not so bad. Could you darken around the gem? Yeah, I could, but will I? I don't know. Here, let me do this. Just really quick, just for you. Damn it. That didn't work. Blame you. This is all you're doing. And you want a dorker. That might be too dark. You know what? Maybe we do just go crazy dark. And then I just adjust the oh no, you know what? I'll multiply it. And then I'll just lighten that multiply. So that now we can see that there is a nice little setting inside. More evil, like the fluids of the devil. Evil. I appreciate you tuning in to Rakus. I really do. All right, that's where I'm leaving it. Thank you guys once again. Have a fantastic day. I'm going to go eat some dinner. Till next time, Slanjavar.